was definitely a priority for me, and I think a lot of it was just kind of insecurity and me wanting to achieve and things like that drove me. Wanting to stop going at 200 miles an hour and kind of slow down so that I could kind of hear myself a little bit more. When things are slowed down and I can hear myself say, why don't you go up to them? Finding those things from kind of my childhood and rediscovering.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we begin this video, I want to ask you one question. Would you leave your high-paying job in a high position to leave the country you were born and raised in to a totally distant land you've never been to find your soul? Well, I'm pretty sure that's a pretty difficult answer. But with that being said, in today's video, we're going to be interviewing a woman who did exactly just that. To leave everything behind in the States, from her friends and family to a good career, to come to the Philippines to soul search for something that is within. So if that intrigues you, I introduce to you our guest today named Jasmine.
Tell us more about your life, how it was like in the States.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason I left was it wasn't working for me there. Just kind of in that point. Work is definitely the focus, the priority.
Right.
And it was for me there at that time. So I kind of left there wanting to stop going at 200 miles an hour and kind of slow down so that I could kind of hear myself a little bit more and see what I want to do.
Yeah. So what's American work culture like? Is it all what the media says? It's all about hustle, 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 grind, grind, grind?
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely, work is always a priority. I think, work is definitely the priority. A lot of times, a lot of us are, when we're working there, we're so tired from our day jobs, we don't even want to go out, with friends afterwards.
Yeah.
It's mostly like just on the weekends when we do that. So I think a lot of us, even, it seems like the trend too is people want so much out of work these days too, not just, purpose, but they want family, sense of family to come out of work, they want friends to come out of work. Yeah. So there's a lot of pressure on work these days. It seems, at least in America.
So in terms of work, what kind of work did you do in the States?
I was head of operations for a bridal company.
Right.
So I did a lot of work in kind of bridal fashion. I studied fashion in college, so kind of led me to there.
Yeah. So how long were you working for in this company?
5 years.
5 years, wow.
Yeah, I definitely picked up this job during college. I met kind of a really young, driven CEO who was starting up this company. Learned so much from her, kind of watched her grow it from, helped build it from, one small 500 square foot location to 4 locations, and, then moving me to another state even to open a sister company. So it was great to kind of, myself grow alongside that company with it.
Yeah. So being in those 5 years of the company, was it for you, in your opinion, in your case, just all work? There's no time to socialize on the weekdays, weekends?
I think it was a lot of work, but I think that's because I kind of made it that way. I think I definitely put, work was definitely a priority for me, and I think a lot of it was just kind of insecurity and me wanting to achieve and things like that drove me. I definitely made time for friends and things like that, but yeah, work's definitely, before was definitely a priority for sure.
So now that you're in the Philippines, are you still working with that company?
No, I quit to come here. So yeah, it's pretty recent for sure.
So now I'm kind of curious, what made you decide to take that leap of faith to quit your job? I mean, by the looks of things, you were basically there from like college, and you kind of grew that company from 1 location to 5. So I'm pretty sure you had a pretty good pay. I'm pretty sure you had a high position. So why did you quit that to move here?
Yeah, I think, that job was definitely another, master's degree in, anything. It taught me so much just about, even just teamwork and building something with peers and things like that. But I think what ultimately led me to it was seeing something grow and seeing, how much goes into it. Seeing my old boss and everything that she went into and how much she sacrificed in that, and seeing it grow, it gave me the perspective of, wow, building anything substantial, anything that's going to change the world, anything, it's revolutionary, takes years, takes decades. And so when I kind of, flipped it over and kind of looked at my life like that, I thought, in the next 5 years, maybe I'm, in an even higher position, but what does that really mean? That's me still working for another company. What kind of, mission do I want for myself that I want to go after? So that was kind of the questions I was asking myself, I think, in that time that that led me to
Yeah.
that decision.
You're basically coming to the Philippines to, I guess, soul search. Is that right?
Yeah. No matter how many times you say
I
it.
know.
No, we love that word. We love that
Yeah, we
word.
love
I
that
think,
word.
you know, it's you hear it all the time. You hear, you know, the word soul searching. I think even kind of in today's age when self-help, at least in America, where it's super, you know, popular these
Yeah.
days, and you know, everyone's trying to find sense of that. Soul searching, you know, it's that cliche story of, you know, working corporate type job, quitting it to you know, soul search. And I think it's so easy for us to see that story and consume it and write it off, but it's so fascinating when you're actually in there and
Right.
you're
Yeah.
forced to look at your own values and see yourself, you know, making the money, having the high position, and then and seeing yourself not happy or fulfilled, maybe that's a better word, fulfilled in
Yeah.
it, testing your own values, being in it.
So were you happier back in the States when I guess your career was on a high, or when you're here in the Philippines soul searching?
Definitely here for a lot of reasons, and I think, you know, besides the job, I think it's at the end of the day, it's we all hear it, we hear it all
Yeah.
the time. Those things don't lead
Yeah.
to
Because life is
fulfillment.
just life is beyond works and jobs and successes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely.
What was that awakening moment for you when you were like, okay, that's it. I gotta quit my job and I gotta move to the Philippines. Was it because like you had an argument with your boss, or you really just wanted to have
No.
something of your own?
No, I think it was the complete opposite of that. I had felt so much pressure all the time, and a lot of it was me putting it on myself. A lot of pressure, stress all the time from, you know, that job, that position. But when I was ending it, it felt very from a place of peace, I would say. Just from, you know, coming to, I think one, I really started to prioritize my health above anything else. So realizing, you know, what that stress can accumulate over time, that was a huge thing for me. That I think health was something I was thinking about a lot in that decision. But when you say, I think, specific moment, I think it was really realizing, wow, I've been here and I'm looking back and I
Yeah.
see what this has become. Like, this is beautiful. Like, it's grown into this,
Right.
you know, beautiful company. And now I want something like that for
Yeah,
myself.
for yourself, right. So how does it feel to be out of that position now that you're here, you're in a much better environment, enjoying life in the Philippines? How does it feel for you?
I think it feels very free, very, very liberating. I think I feel very determined, very, you know, and I think these are a lot of the things I took from that job, where it's, you know,
Right.
I find myself, you know, because I'm slowing down, I find myself doing things that I wouldn't say I wouldn't normally do, but I think I'm just becoming more of myself. Even walking up to you, I wouldn't have done that back in the States where I was, because
Right.
I was under so much stress. I couldn't
Yeah.
even maybe noticed you guys on the street because I was so stressed all the time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even noticed you guys, and even if I did, I wouldn't have even had the confidence to go up to you guys because of where I was at that time. I didn't have,
Right.
you know, it was a completely different time. So now when things are slowed down and I can hear myself say,
Right.
I can hear myself say, why don't you go up to them? And that's what I did when I
Yeah.
went up to you guys.
So there's much more clarity, much more peace, much more happiness in you now.
Definitely.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that. So those who don't know, how I met Jasmine was I was filming with Calvin on a Saturday night in BGC, and she came up to us and she was just asking us questions like, "Are you guys YouTubers? Like, what are you doing here?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just recording." And that kind of sparked the conversations between Jasmine and I, that we're kind of like in a similar position where I guess we're kind of both soul searching, and I guess that's the beauty of it all. But at the end of the day, that's how I'm able to get Jasmine in front of the camera for you. So thank her down in the comment section. Right. But with that being said, do you have any regrets leaving the US and the A for the Philippines? Any regrets you look back in your life?
No, that's never that. I could never have any regrets for that. I think I'm so lucky to have, you know, this time. I realize that not everyone gets to have that, so I'm really appreciative of it, and I want to make, you know, the most of it. I want to like seize
Right.
everything I can out of this
Yeah.
time.
And I guess in that case, there's no better time to start than now, no?
Definitely.
Because I remember when we first met, you kind of told me that you don't want to look back in your life later on and be like, I should have done that earlier. So to those people out there that's thinking, oh, maybe it's too late, what do you have to say to them?
It's never too late, and I think what and I'm still doing this. I think it's baby steps, and I think, you know, each day I'm working more and more towards
Right.
making the decisions, choosing every day to make the choices that won't lead me there. So, you know, it's, and I guess a good example, like what that means to me is like every day intentionally, purposely choosing to go up to you guys, to do things like that. And I think if you do enough of that over time, maybe it'll become a habit, and then we'll get everything we want out of it.
Yeah. Dang, okay. To finally end this, I'm going to ask a penultimate question, but what's next for Jasmine from here on out?
I think more of me testing what I think of myself, testing my own identity, what I've thought about myself, rediscovery, I think a lot of that, and I think a lot of doing things that others wouldn't expect from me, but more importantly, what I wouldn't expect from myself. And yeah, I think the biggest word to kind of sum that up would be rediscovery, I'd say. Finding those things from kind of my childhood and rediscovering them.
Yeah, beautiful. You should be put in like this, I don't know, CNN headline. Like most motivational, best story I've heard ever. And by far, I'll be honest, you kind of inspire me a lot from your story. Took a leap of faith, not easy, but here you are now. And with that being said, is there any last advice you would want to give to the viewers out there?
Oh man, you know, when I was leaving the States to come here, I was just so surprised at how many people were saying, when I was telling them what I was doing, how many people were saying, wow, I wish I could do that. And I just really hope people will look at themselves when they're saying that, and question their own thoughts, and question if they're finding themselves saying that, really questioning that, because why can't you? I know that there are things, and you know, I know I have so much privilege, and you know, I'm so lucky to be here, but I just really hope that no matter what circumstances you're in, that you can somehow find a way to still do it, you know. I think that would be, I know it's, you know, I know not everyone's circumstances are perfect, and I know I have so much privilege, but I hope everyone can still somehow find a way to you know, do what I'm doing if that's what they truly want to do.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jasmine. I hope you guys had a good time. This has been the episode of asking this wonderful Filipino why she left the States to live in the Philippines for good. For good, right?
Yes, thank you, yeah.
Anyways, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Hope to have you more in the channel.
Thank
Follow
you.
her on Instagram, check the links down below, and have a great day. Thank you.